Right, very afternoon, good evening from South Africa. This is ZS6YI operating the worldwide net. And we wish to thank everyone on frequency today. It's a nice big net. It's going to be interesting. As our normal preamble, we wish to thank the Qatar Satellite Company for allowing us an opportunity to be on their satellite. We also wish to thank AMSAT DL, AMSAT UK, and of course the BATC for their valued assistance in enabling radio amateurs to partake in this part of the hobby as DATV, and for that we are ever grateful. Today on net we have to follow ZS1 Mike, then Bert, Papa Alpha 3 Alpha Oscar Delta. Bert's in the Netherlands. And then we have Saro. Welcome, Saro. Saw your transmission just now. Excellent. From India, Victor Uniform 2 Oscar Bravo Radio. Nice to have you back on, Saro. And then all the way to South America, to Brazil, Ed, Papa Yankee 2 Radio November. And then back up to the UK, Mike. Well, Mike might not be on. He's just back from Spain. He says, but he should be on next week. That is Golf 1 Lima Whiskey X-Ray. But you're welcome to break in after Ed if you so wish, Mike. Failing which, Martin will take it, Golf 4 Fox Kilo Kilo. And he's got a new robot in the shack. That sounds interesting. I hope the robot's name's not Martin, but anyway. And then we have Nick again, and this is another Nick. That's a Golf 4 IMO. We had a quick chat earlier, and he's doing well despite the rain. So if you can't read us, I think the link's okay on YouTube. And then Benno, Papa Alpha 3 Foxtrot Bravo X-Ray, also from the Netherlands. And then Mike, Golf 0, Mike Juliet Whiskey. So at the moment, that's what I have on our little logbook. And let's see, there is Golf Whiskey 7, Bravo Zulu Yankee. I don't know the name, but anyway, good day to you. You're welcome to pop in if you wish. So there we go. So Leon, if you don't mind. Hello, Peter. Thanks, Peter. Peter's watching as well. Golf Whiskey 7 Bravo Zulu Yankee. Good day to you, Peter, and welcome aboard. Right, if our dear friend ZS1 Mike can start his motors, Zulu Sierra 6 Yankee India standing by.
Okay, 6 and the group ZS1MM returning. I was saying hello, hang on, I'm wrong camera now. That one should be off, that one is better for now. Playing with this one, and I see it's out of focus now. Okay, yes, hello to everybody. Good morning, good afternoon and good evening. From a rather cool Worcester. The sun is actually out now, but early on it was raining. It's quite cool. That's why I'm sitting in the jacket again. And also a special welcome to Nick and to Saro. Saro has been off for quite a while. Right, okay, I don't have any particular topic for today, just a little bit of excitement. I repaired one of these inverter welders for a friend of mine yesterday. Still replaced the fan, so not in good shape. You have to start it by hand, and that's not good. But the welding machine itself is working fine now. So he said to me, but he's got another one. It's like new, but it's a TIG welder, also inverter welder, but a TIG welder. And he's going to give it to me. So he brought it here. And it's beautiful, complete with everything. Loads of these tungsten, thoriated tungsten rods for the thing. And nozzle shields, more nozzle shields. And all sorts of things with a regulator, the inverter, the whole tutti. I must just get a gas bottle, that's all. So I'm very excited about that. I've always wanted a TIG welder for fine sheet metal welding and things. It works so well for that. So anyway, tomorrow, first thing I'm going to buy a fan for his welder, and then I'm going to Afrox, the South African gas people, and see if I can buy a small gas cylinder for this machine, and then start playing. Otherwise, not much happening at this end. I did demonstrate my L-band receiver early in the week, so we're not going to bother with that. And yeah, right. Then I give it to Bert, Papa Alpha 3, Alpha Oscar Delta, for the group.
No, yes. Okay, yeah, you switched off a little bit earlier, Leon, because you had ZS and then everything was gone. Doesn't matter. Okay, good evening, morning, afternoon, everybody on the net here. Yeah, about the weather. Yeah, it's also not nice weather over here. It's around 11, 12 degrees. A little bit rainy, but anyway, it's real spring weather. We needed some water, so it's not that bad at all. But the coming weeks should be better. Starting on Tuesday, Wednesday, it will be around 20 degrees then. So let's hope that will be then 20 degrees then, and that's a nice temperature. Yeah, about that welding machine for fine pitch welding. Probably not for SMD, Leon. Then the whole SMD component is completely gone, I presume. What I want to tell, nothing more. Oh yeah, yesterday I went to a ham radio fair, or a flea market. The first one since 2019. During COVID-19 there was no flea market of nothing at all, and there was the first one in years. So I went there, met a couple of persons, was seen not in a couple of years all. Yeah, I wanted to show, Ed asked me to show me my antenna, so I put up my other USB camera, and yeah, for the antenna. It's not in, how do you call it, an pan tilt zoom camera. It's just a fixed Raspberry Pi camera, the old Raspberry Pi camera. But anyway, I can make some live pictures. Let's see if we can switch over to that. If it's correct, you'll see now the antenna. The big one, that's, yeah, the antenna is on the moment in the lowest position, because last week we had thunderstorm, lightning, and a lot of wind, so I put the antenna down. The tower is in crank up and tilt over version, so it's easily for maintenance on the antenna. The big antenna, what you can see from left to right, is nearly 10 meters from left to right, and that's for 6 meters till 40 meters. That's called the Urban Beam from Step IR, an American firm company. It's the 2 elements. But yeah, that's the only one. That's the only one I can place here. Otherwise, I have some issues with yeah, maybe with neighbors. And yeah, the other antennas, what you can see over here, is a 2 meter antenna, 70 centimeter, and 23. So that's the antennas I use here. The most work is done with the UHF and VHF antennas. And in the small corner, you see the other USB camera. That's with the wings. That's an electric winch, so it's not necessary for me to do it by hand. Let's see if we can make the picture a little bit bigger. Let's see if that works. See what we can do. Yep. Yeah. Okay. With some luck, you see now the winch. On the right side, you see even part of my dish. The dish is 1.8 meter prime focus one. And also next to the dish, left to the dish, is a small antenna for the NOAA weather satellites. It's just around 50 centimeters from the ground, but it's working fine. And as you can see on the background, there are some trees. I'm surrounded here by trees, but luckily just between those trees there's the satellite on 20 degrees east from my point of view. So I've got a nice view to the satellite. Yeah, that's all from this side. Let's see if we can switch on the other camera again. Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah. One other thing I did also this morning. That was. Let's see if we can show it. Yeah, that was the app from Tom, and with the right receiver, and it works perfectly. No remote control needed, just the telephone, and that's enough to steering the receiver. So that was fine anyway. Okay, that's it from this side. Let's see who's next on the list. Sarah, VU2RTF. System is yours from Papa Alpha 3, Alpha Oscar Delta.
Yeah. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my dear friends. I'm sorry, just Lime SDR for the transmission for with Fox 1 EJP Dominic's DATV EC software. I think it's doing fine. And there is a delay in my audio, not completed, also not stable, I think. Okay. So first of all, I thank Gary for the controlling the net. It's a nice net today. It's a long net going to be, I think. And I think the first month was very good development on the DATV side, QO-100 DATV side. I thank Tom and Dominic for the contribution for their time and support for the software things. I missed Tom today. Maybe he will join next week. So nothing special from my side, just I want to say hello to all, and I'm fine here. I'll try to join regularly any upcoming weeks. So thank you very much. The turn goes to Ed. Go ahead, Ed. Please start your transmission. I will be standby.
Yeah, thank you, Saro. Hello, greetings, everyone. Nice to be here today. Let me put myself on mute, otherwise things gonna start getting crazy. Hi, Gary. Thanks for coordinating the net once more. Hello, Leon, Bert, and Saro. Nice to see you all. Leon, very nice material you got there for the TIG welding. I'm sure that you're gonna do excellent with that. Speaking about the welding and soldering, I just got a new hot air gun. It's kind of portable one. It comes with a power supply where you can set the temperature and the blower. So it works pretty well. I mean, it comes with the, you know, all the pointers and also with an extra resistance. I do have a hot air station, but it's too big, and I decided just to get this little one. Yeah, it seems working fine. Bert, congratulations on your tower. It's amazing. This crank-up tower, it's always a dream for me. I have a 50-meter fixed tower on my backyard, but this crank-up towers is amazing, and I was surprised to see the size of the motor, really small for that you know, big tower. So congratulations on your tower and the antennas. Thank you for showing us your antennas there. Very nice. Saro, good transmission. You're using the ATV Easy. A little unstable at the beginning, but after it was very stable. No problem. Also would like to say hello to Mike, go for 1 Lima Whiskey X-ray, to Martin, go for Fox Kilo Kilo. By the way, Martin has mentioned about some relatives you have in Ubatuba. Amazing, because yeah, it's a small city on the beach, and if someday you come, please let me know, because my brother-in-law has has a place there in Ubatuba, so maybe we can schedule something there. It's many years I don't go there. To Ubatuba, it's a small city, and I used to go there to pass the New Year's Eve, but things got very crowded there, so I choose go there, you know, outside the high season, and I tell you, this time of the year is very nice to go there, because we are going to the winter time, and the city is very calm, almost empty, and you can enjoy the places, the restaurants, and everything. So let me know when you come here. Who else on the net? Benno, I saw your short transmission before. Seems everything okay. And Nick, go for IMO. Also, I saw you. Very nice transmission. Mike, Golf Zero Mike Juliet Whiskey. Long time I don't see. I see Nigel also on the list. 2 Echo Zero Echo Hotel Hotel with problems with RX. Maybe you can use the YouTube streaming from Gary. And Peter, Golf Whisk 7 Bravo Zulu Yankee. It would be nice to see whales on the net today. Even more if Peter, if you can join 6 meters FT8. Golf Whiskey is a country that I desperately need for my DXCC. Just take opportunity to mention that. All right, guys, thank you very much. Gary, I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to make the second round because wife is waiting to go out someplace. But wish you all a great upcoming week, and thank you very much for this net today as well. Thank you very much to all. Now going to Mike, Golf 1 Lima Whiskey X-Ray from Papa Yankee 2, Radio November 73 to all.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Mike's actually on this week. Yeah, I'm not sure if he said he'd be on next week. So apologies, Mike, if you are there and I've jumped on top of your slot. But the picture's a bit rough today, isn't it? I'll worry about that later. Anyway, afternoon, morning and good evening all. Lovely to see everybody on the net today. Leon, any welder would do nicely here, let alone a TIG welder, so you'll have fun with that. Has he just given it to you, or are you repairing it or something? Apologies for the flickering picture. I think I'm trying to overdo the bit rate a bit here. I'll reset that later. Bert, I'm glad you managed to get to what we call them rallies, but flea market. First time for a few years. I still haven't been to one for about 4 years, let alone 2 years. That's most poor. I like the urban beam, and I wonder how high your mast is. Also, I was admiring your summer house in the garden there. That looks very swish. Hi, Sarah. Good to see you on today. Yeah, the picture was dropping out a bit. At least it wasn't flickering like mine. But we didn't really miss anything, so that was good. Ed, I love your interstitials, as the BBC like to call them, the little promos and tangs that you come up with. Very good. And I like the cartoon as well. Unfortunately, it's a bit close to the truth, that cartoon. The hot air gun looked good. And, well, yeah, I'm not sure. There are no plans currently. In fact, I think my relatives might be thinking of coming back over here at some point. They've been over there 50 years. Uncle Dennis and Auntie Kay used to run a bar on the beach, and their house is actually on the beach as well. So I've only been there once, and it was absolutely beautiful. And Uncle Dennis made a good caipirinha, so there you go. Right, I'll have a quick whiz through because it is quite a big net, isn't it? Let me. I was just going to show you this robot that's appeared in the shack. I'll swap over to the shaky cam. Oh, sorry, the unsteady cam. So here it is. It hasn't really got a name yet, Gary, apart from what the hell's that, which is what my wife said yesterday. I picked it up yesterday from the middle of London in Hatton Garden. So I said to Anne, I'm just driving up to also London Prime jewellery quarter. So she thought I was going to buy some nice rings or something. Anyway, that's it. It's a watch cleaning machine. So I'll quickly whiz through it. Basically, you put your parts of watches in this basket here. Then there are 3 jars into which the parts are dunked and spun. Then it comes up and spins off the excess and goes to the next jar. And it's an amazing machine. This one was built in the 60s, and when it was built, it was entirely mechanical at all, but someone has put a PLC processor in it, so now it doesn't do anything different as far as I can tell than the original, but it's now controlled by a computer, and if I press that, it will start making an horrendous noise. I won't take you through the whole cycle. So there we are, lifting up. Then the table turns, and it pops it into the jar, and then starts. Oh, Now this camera's packing up. How annoying. Anyway, it starts shaking it wildly. I'll tell you what. Let's go back to, oh, it's working now. So if I press the skip button, so it's now cleaned the parts, in theory. It then spins off the excess cleaning fluid. I find this fascinating. It just amazes me. You can get all sorts of watch cleaners. They're all basically the same, so they just spin parts in nasty chemicals. Well, makes a heck of a racket as well. And then it pops up again. And gets ready for the next. That's the first rinse. Anyway, that's probably enough of that. I've got another new gadget in the shack. I'll quickly show you that. This is the time graphing machine. So I've got a watch in a microphone clamp. You remember I had a homemade version of this. So, but the people that wrote the software wanted money for it, which is fine because it's good software. But instead of doing that, I put the money towards the number 1000 multi-function time grapher. So there you go. It doesn't come out very well on this camera, but it's showing me that the watch that's currently under test is running 27 seconds fast a day. I've not done anything to that watch yet, so that's the next one to be stripped down and fiddled about with. So there you go. That's that. Oh, the what the hell's that is doing its thing. I'm looking forward to seeing you, Nigel, by the way. Well, everyone, in fact, obviously. But Nigel says he's having trouble with receiving, so there might be a gap between Mike putting it over to Nigel and Nigel picking it up. So leave a bit of a pause, Peter. Right. So it's now round to you, Nick. I don't know if you can hear me over this noise. It's brilliant. What am I talking about? Yeah, G4IMO. It's all very confusing here. G4FKK is standing by.
Okay. It's working. Right, G4FKK and the rest of the group. G4IMO. Where's my camera? There we go. Right. Yes, afternoon to everybody. Nice to see you all here on the net. You can see I'm well wrapped up today. It's turned very cold here. Not only is it raining, it's 11 degrees, freezing in fact. So, oh dear, last week it was too hot. We were up in the sort of 20s, 21, something like that. Anyway, yes, anyway, say nice to see everybody on here. I wasn't on last week, and so I thought I'd make the effort to come on today. What was I going to say? Oh, my audio settings, I've had to change in OBS again. All the lip sync was terrible when I powered it up this afternoon. So I've had to play around with the settings again. So I think it was Mike says it's probably a Windows update or something. I don't know why it keeps changing, but hopefully it's not too far out now. And what's today? Sunday. Yeah, Friday. I had an email from the Pi Hut telling me that they had the Raspberry Pi 4s in stock. So I very quickly ordered one. And by Saturday morning, they'd all been sold. They'd sold out. I did put a message on the forum, the BATC forum, so hopefully other people could snap them up. They put the price up a little bit, but I suppose that's understandable. But certainly ones on eBay now, that they're going for really, really silly prices now. You know, some of them over £100. Crazy prices. What else? Oh, the other thing, I was going to show you my shack. This is a very rare occurrence. I've got my eagle eye set up to show my shack. I can. There we go. That is the IMO shack. Relatively tidy. This is my HF radio, the ICOM 7300 with the Logitech C920 sitting on the top, and the computer screen in the middle there, and the one on the left, the computer screen on the left is the output from the RIDE receiver, which I'm currently using. Oh, and this is a Ports Down 4, which I'm not actually using at the moment. This is my Pluto in there, and that's my temperature readout. Currently showing 31 degrees. So anyway, that's my shack. It's a very small shack, just in the corner of the room. So, but it's all I've got. So there we go. Okay. Yeah. Okay, Martin. On your new little toy there, that little robot thing. That's amazing, isn't it? Oh dear. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, I think, as you say, modern cleaners, they use chemicals and things, or ultrasonic things, but yeah, it looks an amazing piece of equipment. What else was there? I made some notes, but I can't read my notes. Oh, next weekend I won't be around. I'm going to a Spalding amateur radio rally, which is sort of about 15 to 20 minutes away from here. So that's next Sunday, the 5th of June. So I'll be going to that. So I won't be around for the net. And then I think in August, first week of August, I think is the Kings Lynn rally. So hopefully that'll be on. But we'll have to see. Okay, I'm going to pass it on to the next one. Okay, PA3 Fox Bravo X-ray to take G4IMO.
Turn that a little bit down. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, everyone. I was thinking that I haven't much to say today, and I then realized that I actually did quite a bit over the last few days. I was on a small holiday with my camper, and I have my box with me for the satellite, and worked some stations, even one station only a few kilometers from myself, over the satellite, over the narrowband. And I am at the moment working on the project of Tom, to get that one also in the box to because as of tomorrow I will be on to the next happening on my mobile home, which will be a yearly gathering during not the Easter, I'm not sure how it's called in English, Pinkster weekend, the next holiday weekend we have here in the Netherlands, which will be not this week but next week obviously. I was also quite I had to make some decisions because Formula 1 is driving, and obviously I have to cheer for Max this afternoon. But luckily they have severe rain in Monaco, who would say that, meaning it's all postponed, probably will follow after the net. So that's neatly done. For the rest, I have played, and I'm not sure why, but it immediately freezed up when I was receiving, switching on the transmission. But I was playing with this. How can I show that? Oh, much too big. That's not great preparation. Let's do it this way. That's better. And this is the software from Andre, made on a Raspberry for remote SDR, which I have played a little bit with it. I'm not completely happy with it yet, and I cannot transmit with it yet. But I managed to get, you can see the narrowband here on the satellite, but somehow it freezed up. Probably too much on my computer running at the moment, so at least this is the image. And you can use any browser somewhere on the network to see this image and to work. Use your own microphone and loudspeaker to do the transmission on the narrowband via a Raspberry and a Pluto. But like I said, I cannot manage to get it transmitting so far. And during all the projects, I kind of thrown this away already because it's too much at the moment. Sarah, I saw you using the, let's turn my camera back on. Saro, I noticed that you were also using DATV Easy, but then with Lime. I think it's perfect software, but it has some flaws, and that's also what I have, exactly what you're seeing. The minute you're pressing start, it takes about 2 or 3 minutes to stabilize before transmission. So when I use it, I need to start and then switch off the PTT manually, take care that it's not being transmitted, and then only switch on and switch off the PTT, because the starting button itself, it takes first it takes a tremendous amount of time before it completely started, and then it's 10 or 15 dropouts in the next 2 or 3 minutes. It's quite normal as far as I can tell, and I'm using it with a Pluto on the network, so that's I reckon it's quite similar with Lime. And yesterday this morning I've used it with DVB-T, the 1.25, and I found that DVB-T works, but not on 333, not for transmission. If I put it on 500 bit rate, it works. If I put it on 333, it sometimes works, sometimes doesn't work, and it also depends between which kind of using. It's using John, just a minute, I'll come back on your question. But it's not completely stable, and I think there's a small bug. But depending on which Pluto I'm using, I have several Plutos. One is doing better job than the other. So it's somewhere along the line and the kind of firmware you're using. But 500 works pretty stable, and 333 it doesn't, but that's for DVB-T and the lockups for the starting of the DVB-S transmission. Flea market. Yes, yesterday I went to a flea market after, well, almost 3 years. It's allowed again, and there was one close to my home, only like 50 kilometers from here. So yesterday morning I did some spending, some check movements, how you would call it, to buy some junk from someone else and put it in the back of my car. And in the end, I put it here on in the shack already, but it's not it's not ready for show, so I leave it over by that. And obviously, at the nice promos, I hardly dare to come on the air without any promos, because what you are showing us, it's great. The nice promos you always show us. Some of them I think I know, but it's nice, very nice. And obviously, John, everything is networked, so I'm not using Wi-Fi. I'm not using 2.4 Wi-Fi. That's not the reason. The Raspberry is all networked. Actually, it's completely shielded. There it is. Where it is? There it is. That's the. It's a kind of mess in on my dash, but that's the Raspberry 4. And actually, last week 2 of them. I was very happy. I ordered those somewhere in around Christmas time, I believe. Never heard about it. And yesterday, or no, last week, I got a surprise in my mailbox, and I found 2 Raspberry 4. So luckily, I have 2 to spare at the moment, because I'm using, well, one is now in use, but both are extra for stock and for test purposes. Okay, well, that's basically what I wanted to show you. Besides everything else I did over the last week, it's basically too much, and I'll leave it on that. Microphone on to our friend Mike. Golf 0, Mike Juliet Whiskey. Pre-prepared. From Papa Alpha number 3, Foxtrot Bravo X-Ray.
Thank you, Benno. I'm not sure I am prepared actually, but hey ho. Good afternoon, everyone. Been busy doing a few things and got a little bit distracted trying to design a new printed circuit board. And of course, once I'd done that, it was what it is a hybrid combiner or splitter to drive 2 PA pellets from one source with a phase difference appropriate for combining them at the other end. I then decided, well, why don't I do the LDMOS bias PCB as well? Rather than doing something simple, I've now made it a little bit more complicated, so that's a bit of work I've got to do as well, just to finish off that design. Hence it's taken the day up, but it's horribly cold outside, so that's good. Right, nice to see everybody, and some very interesting things, and that washing machine that Martin seems to have looks interesting. I'm surprised the watch comes out in a single piece, or maybe you take it apart before you put it in. Maybe that's the secret, I don't know. It could be that, but I would have thought it'd get all smashed up with all that spinning. Anyway, let me just show a few things before passing on to Nigel. Firstly, what's on the bench. What you can see there mostly is I rooted around in my junk pile and remembered some SM141 coax, which I purchased in Friedrichshafen many years ago now, probably about 5 years ago. 35 ohms. So this is for the branch line coupler that I'm building. You need 2 lengths of 35 ohm cable, a quarter of a wavelength long, and 2 lengths of 50 ohm cable, a quarter of a wavelength long. I could make it on a piece of PCB, but it wouldn't survive the power if I used FR4, and if I was to use RT Duroid, it costs too much. So that's what's there. But the other boards are what I was thinking of using, which are the splitters from the original amplifier where we got all the pallets. These are the 77s pallets, but unfortunately they're using Wilkinson type designs, and although I could use a Wilkinson on the output, I don't actually have the appropriate 100 ohm resistor, but I do have 50 ohm resistor coupler. It's easy enough to make, just as easy as the Wilkinson really, and I'll make it out of coax, hence the 35 ohm coax on the bench. So a long time saying not very much. Right, on to Polycom. This should have a picture of me in it. Which camera are we on that one? Just to move it around a bit. I've discovered, by the way, that you can change it so that it points in the direction that you want it to. It can be inverted, which is good, because I always drive it in the wrong direction. What I'm trying to show you is I've tied it up, but it's maybe not working very successfully. And maybe I want to use the other camera actually. But the shack was getting a little bit of a mess. People will be familiar with this concept, so I've moved a few things, and in particular I decided to make a space on the bench for this thing, the router. So it's incredibly noisy, and I'm not sure I really want to use it in here. I tend to use it in the garage, but anyway, it's got its own bench space there at the moment. It's useful to be able to hear it, to understand if it's working or not, but it's not always desirable to hear it at its full volume. I'm sure Gary knows all about CNC and how to do this sort of thing properly. But in my case, this cheap thing is very, very noisy and isn't in a cabinet or anything, so that's what that is. Apart from that, I don't think I had very much else to add, so I'll pass it on. I think it's going to Nigel. Let me just check. Yeah, 2E0 Echo Hotel Hotel. Hopefully you can see my signal. If not, I'll prompt you on the chat, but I'm going to go to the test card. So get ready, Nigel. G0MJW, passing it over to you.
Okay, Peter. Nigel, I had no audio from you, I'm afraid. So... Zulu Yankee to take it from Zulu Sierra 6 Yankee India in the group.
I've realised that I'd switched the preamp off, the first driver amp off, and nothing happened, so apologies for that.
First driver amp off, and nothing happened, so apologies for that. Yeah.
Just mute me signal. Good afternoon, everybody. And be quite a few people on, isn't there? So I'll keep it short. And say to PY2RN that FT8, 6 meters. I do have 6 meters. I have an FT100 multi-mode HF, VHF, UHF rig, and I'm sure I can get some audio into it. I think there's some plugs at the back. I'm not too sure. If there is, I will look into FT. Just 6 meters, FT8. I'm thinking put about 50 watts out, so that might work. That might be an interesting thing to do. Martin, yeah, I like the watch repairing robot. One of my favourite YouTube channels is the Naked Watchmaker, which is not as exciting as it sounds. He repairs watches, etc. It's fascinating stuff. I don't know if you're familiar with it or a fan, but that is great stuff. And I'm sure it's great fun fixing the watches. I've got a watch that needs repairing, by the way. I just mentioned that. It's got a bit of damp in it. It's got some condensation. Hopefully not rusty. Oh, the other thing I was with Martin there was that, well, I was thinking of doing a little stinger, or I forgot how you described it with the B. But I was going to put into them 2 characters into a little animation, but I don't know what your connection is with them. So they might resemble some characters, but it's just accidental. Perhaps I won't do what I was going to do. It was going to destroy the monitor and knock the table over, but maybe not. How we go on copyright with that? Anything else on my notes here? Good afternoon to us, to South Africa. Good to see you on there, Gary. Good pictures in the other stations. Yeah, I think that's about all I've got on. As in, you know, someone said that they've got an auntie, an uncle that emigrated to South Africa. Well, my parents emigrated to Wales. I've never forgiven them. They could have gone to Australia. Why did they come to Wales? Why? Anyway, with that, I'm going to hand it round from GW7BZY. To who I haven't got a list of who's on it. I can't see it on the screen, so I'm obviously not looking in the right place. So I apologise for.
Okay, no problem, Peter. Very nice to see you again. Golf Whiskey 7 Bravo Zulu Yankee ZS6YI. That was a nice monitor you showed on the table. I'd like to know more about that, that's for sure. And interesting, nice audio from you. I don't know, I've got an interference somewhere. Sometimes your picture broke up. I don't know if anyone else had that. And unfortunately, Nigel, we didn't have audio from your side, but I'm sure that will be sorted out. Right, okay, Leon, it's a pity you didn't show that nice little receiver you showed earlier. I think it was yesterday afternoon, or yeah, that was something nice to show. A lovely receiver that Leon built. I wouldn't mind seeing that again, actually. So I don't know if Leon can get that fired up in such short notice, but that was something worthwhile. Hello to you, Bert. Yeah, nice antenna, nice tower. There was, to me, it looked like something was burning, like your coax was burning. I thought, what the heck? Nobody's mentioning he's got a flame going, and then it must have been a reflection of the light. Yeah, I have exactly the same on one of my towers, also with a remote-controlled hoist or winch. And from the shack, it was a Step IR, the Monster, by Step IR, and could go up to about 30 meters or so. And I could, in the shack, I could even see what the height of the antenna was. So I could change the antenna, could change its direction, change its lengths, or its, you know, the frequencies, and all the elements come in and out with the Monster, and also the height. And you'll be surprised, on 20 meters, it's not necessarily the higher the better. I actually brought it down, 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 down until you get a sweet spot. And that's where the proper reflection takes place below the ground. That's a real RF earth. And it would change from wet and dry season a little bit. Anyway, one day we were repairing the antenna, and we cranked it up, and the cable sort of twisted on itself. I thought it was the micro switches, but later on discovered it wasn't. It was the cable twisted, and I had a good 7 horsepower motor at the bottom, big heavy tower, and eventually the cable broke and this whole thing concertinaed in. And when it stopped, of course, hitting the ground, the tower didn't fall, nothing happened to the tower, but the Monster couldn't handle it. The boom broke. When the boom broke, all the elements broke. So that was the end of the Monster. Anyway, things happen. I should have had strain testers in the cable, and if it got to a certain, or even on the amperage of the machine, of the motor, if it got to a certain level, trip out, I could have saved the problem. Anyway, these things happen, and so I've never repaired it. Although the tower's still perfect, I must actually take it off and take it to the work and redo it again. Maybe re-hot tip galvanize it. So that's the story. Right, Saro, good to see you again. Yeah, in the beginning it wasn't too stable, but it came back. And it's nice to see you. Forgotten what you look like and what you sound like. So welcome aboard again, and nice to see you. And hope it's going to be more often. Ed, yeah, we all have the memory problem at this time of the aging cycle. And that was a good introduction too. My goodness, it takes time to make such beautiful introductions, man. That really shows what DATV can do, and the quality and the colors. Wow, that's a lovely introduction, and well done on that. And then Mike's not there, but he will be next week, back from Spain. And Martin, what the heck is that? Well, that's a good name for it. I'm just hoping that with all the centrifugal forces you put in on the poor watch or whatever, that all the screws are tightened. And I wonder what you're using as a cleaning liquid. We used to use carbon tetrachloride. It was an excellent degreaser and so on, but one can't get it these days. You can get carbon tetrafluoride, I think you can get, but not tetrachloride. But anyway, we use other things nowadays to clean spray guns, but it has to etch the chemical out. So we use DOP and MEK and so forth, methylene, ethylene, ketone, which is quite a good cleaner, but quite aggressive. Can eat up all the rubbers that you have, or anything plasticky. So, but it's a nice looking machine, and yeah, what do you need a PLC for if you've got old-fashioned gears? Or alternatively, why have old-fashioned gears if you can run a PLC, I suppose, is the counter. And right, Nick, excellent signal from you, no problem, and a very neat shack. Very nice indeed. Yeah, it's nice to see people's shacks, that's for sure. And then Benno, nice to see you again. Been a while, and I see you've still been busy even though you went camping, so that's all good. Mike, yeah, always a neat, tidy shack, which is, shall we say, testament to a neat, tidy mind, and I'm nice on the projects you do in there. And yeah, you're lucky to get that impedance coax, so you can make up your phasing harnesses, your splitters. Very good. And I wonder what power you want to run through that. But anyway, all good. And your milling machine, yeah, with a little motor like that, they do kick up a racket. But yeah, you can enclose it with a bit of Perspex, and that will shut it up a little bit. Not much, but enough to be more tolerable. And if you get your speeds and things right, it won't sound like a cat whose tail you've stood on, because they can make a racket, that's for sure. I have a problem with my big CNC machine this week. I've got a new tool maker, and he decided to go into the IP addresses for whatever reason, and he's buggered the whole thing up. So I had to take the unit out. I don't know what he did, and send it into Hyder 9 so that they could reprogram it. And while they're busy, they might as well update it. So that happened this week, but I need it next week, so I hope they can get it sorted. Right, yeah, Nigel just with the audio problem, but otherwise a good signal. And Peter, as usual, good signal. So right, I waffled along to see if Leon could perhaps show everyone that lovely receiver he's just built. A ZS1 Mike. Would you like to take the controls? ZS6 Yankee India.
Pardon the noise here. The neighbors' dogs are going crazy. Oh, I think they've just shut them up. Oh, what a racket. I hate dogs. Okay, let's just quickly go through the list. Yeah, I use xylene mostly for degreasing things and so on. It works well, and it doesn't evaporate quite so fast. But it also attacks some plastics and things. So I know MEK, we used to use that in the aircraft industry. To clean things on the aeroplanes and so on. Okay, Bert, yeah, lovely tower, hey, that's a monster, man. Yes, sir. And I see you've also got Tom's remote thing on your cell phone there. Very nice. It's, oh man, wow, I've got another idea, another job we must give Tom, because he's very clever with these sort of things. I'll discuss that with Gary. Okay, Saru, very nice to see you. You sound good, so hope we see you every weekend again now. And Ed, yes, I see you got a new hot air thing. I've also got a hot air machine. It's also big and bulky, but I don't use it anymore. I use the infrared one. It's for me, it's better. It just works nicer. And there's no airflow, no wind, because I found that with a hot air, if you really blow it, you can blow off some of the components. So I use the infrared. Right, Martin, yeah, nice cleaner there. A friend of mine, oh, he's long passed on, but he also had a machine, but I think it was manual. I think he had to turn a little crank handle that spun that little basket thing. He was also into watchmaking. He was actually a professional watchmaker at one stage. Barry, Uncle Barry, yes. Right. And by the way, no, the guy gave me the welder as a present. I repaired his one. There it's standing. I must just get the new fan for it tomorrow, but the machine is working. And then he gave me an almost identical one, but with all the TIG equipment and everything that goes with it. He says, no, he doesn't use a TIG anymore. No. So, my luck. Right, that is Martin. Nick. The guy with the neat shack. Yes. Nick, also your video is extremely sharp. You've got a very, very, very crisp video. It's very nice, I must say. Then Benno just had general talk, told us about all these things and coming back from holiday and so on. I wrote his call sign wrong. I added BFX and it should be FBX, so I corrected that. And Mike, with all the couplers and things there, yes, very nice. I didn't even know you got 35 ohm of that semi-rigid stuff. Yeah, I made couplers, but with 90-degree offset for the work on PC board to get circular polarization. We had for P band. We had crossed crossed log periodics. And you feed the two into a 90 degree hybrid, and then you get circular polarization out. Because all telemetry reception is done in circular polarization regardless of the band. So I made those on PC board. Okay, Nigel, sorry, there was no sound with Nigel. And Peter, yes, you have an exceptionally crisp, sharp picture and also very nice audio, Peter. Yeah, nice to see you here. I don't think we've spoken before. You're the guy with all the cameras in the background there, all those nice old cameras. Okay, right. So yeah, the welder is sorted. We've got all the TIG rods and things, and he gave me 2 long holders full of stainless steel TIG welding rods as well. Gary, yeah, this is a little receiver I built, well, compiled. I say when you build something, you build it from raw components, and this is not built from raw components. I bought a screen, an analog, what is it, 7-inch analog screen, a normal PAL screen, and I've told you guys before that I have, well, roughly 150 of the old analog satellite receivers, and some of them, not all of them, but on some of them, the actual receiver is about the size of the NIM tuners we use in the mini tuner. So you hack that out, and you've got a complete L-band receiver. Then it's not synthesized anymore, so I have a little pot with a regulated supply, and there's the pot, so there I can tune it. I've actually padded it on either side, so that it's really just a fine tune for the channel I'm using it. With an internal battery, and when you press the button here, I must just get the reflection off, press a button, you power it up, and there you have the live video that I'm transmitting from the DVD player in the lounge. And you let go of the button and it's all. This is for the weather distribution at our local airfield. We have a weather system there which is only feeding one computer with VGA output. So what I did is I bought a little converter, VGA to composite, and the composite I feed into a little ISM band transmitter, mounted that on the clubhouse. So now you can pick this up wherever you want the weather, especially the gliding guys. They, depending on the wind direction, sometimes they runway 33, they start over there, so their starting point is there, then they have the weather there, and sometimes it's runway 15 when it's the opposite wind, and so on. So that was the idea behind it. So I didn't really build it, I just compiled it and put it into one of Gary's nice boxes. So that's it from me. I have to run, unfortunately. I have some phone calls to make, but nice seeing you guys, and hope to see you next weekend. Right, Bert, so it's over to you. Papa Alpha 3, Alpha Oscar Delta for the group. ZS1 Mike is going QRT, but listening in the background for a little while.
All right, thanks, Leon. It's all fine, eh? Yeah, welding. I've never done it. Yeah, maybe 40 years ago I did some electric welding, but all the other ones, the TIG and all the other weldings, I've never done that before. Yeah, about that for Martin, that shaking machine. You can make maybe a milkshake or something like that with. Or making some ice cream or so, but it looks a heavy one. It's like a complete full metal thing. Indeed, it's, you can see that's an old-fashioned model anyway, but it doesn't matter. If it functions what you like, then it's okay, yeah? Yeah, about my tower things. Let's see if I can put on the other picture. Oh, that was the wrong button. This one. Let's see. Yeah, there is a nice little flame. That's indeed from one of the light bulbs over here. Eh? I've not seen it, but indeed, Gary, there is an... okay, let's make it a little bit bigger. Let's see. Oh. Yeah, the winch, that's a 12-volt winch used for by people who's driving with the Land Rovers into the mud. So they are stuck and they have to pull out themselves. They put a cable on a tree or something like that. And first they drive into the mud and then they have to pull them out there. That seems to be a hobby, especially I think in the UK. Yeah? But that's just a normal DC motor with a nice gear. So that's kind of going up and down with the motor. Yeah, about the shed, it's not a Swiss yet, but it's a nice wooden building. And one of the corners, there's all my 30 centimeters stuff. The amplifier is over there, and the down converter. It's all the Oscar 100 is one of the corners of the shed. So the cables are yeah, just 3 meters long. About the height of the tower, that's the antennas are approximately around 22 meters. And indeed, you can change a little bit the standing wave ratio by changing the height, especially when on 6 meter and 10 meter. On 20 meter, I see no difference, but on 6 meter and 10 meters, I see indeed some difference. Yeah, okay. Yeah, about the what's it called, the apps from Tom. Yeah, it works very fine in the right, and he's planning to make something for the windmill. It would be great, if that is also for the windmill. The windmill is still waiting here. It's waiting. Most of the time I'm using the right, and yeah, I need an extra monitor for or an extra screen for the windmill. So I have to switch over now by the HDMI cable. Pull one, plug in the other one, and around there. Okay, we'll say everybody have a nice week. Let's go back to this one. Oh, let's see, some problems with the switch over here. Okay, everybody has a nice week, and see you maybe next weekend. And then it goes to Saro. System goes down to India. VU2RTF, the group from PA3AOD. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Gary, for the net, and thank you, Leon, Bert, Ed, and Mike, Martin, Nick, Benno, and Mike, Juliet, Whiskey, Mike, Nikhil, Peter. Peter not joined. Okay, yeah. So nice to see you, all of you guys. Thank you very much for joining. And yeah, Benno, just I am following your method now. Just I disabled the PTT and the continuous transmission goes to Lime and only PTT disabled. Whenever I want, I switch on the PTT. So it's that chopping was now gone, and it's a fine idea, Benno. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So 73 is all of you guys. See you on the next week. Still I'm having some issues, so can't sit it more time. See you on the next week, 73s. The over goes to Ed. If possible, you can take. Otherwise, go to Martin, I think. So 73 is all of you. See you on the next week. 73 is all of
Yeah. I am still around. I don't know if the same happened with you guys, but you know, my wife told me, no, we need to go out, blah, 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 blah. So I just made the first over and get down and got changed, you know. As you, I don't know if you're going to realize, but I'm with a different shirt now. Yeah, but, you know, then comes my daughter. Oh, going out? Oh, I need to take a shower, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, that was supposed to be fast, but never. All right, guys, very nice to be here on the net. And by the way, for Peter, Golf Whiskey 7 Bravo Zulu Yankee, Peter, does it need to be necessarily FT8? Not even a big fan, but most of the activity on 6 meters are being concentrated on 5313. But actually can be CW, SSB, or anything. no problem. 50 watts. Yeah. Well, lately yesterday we got a big opening to the UK, and so probably between South America and the UK, and probably it's going to happen the following days as well. So hopefully to get you. And for Leon, yeah, Leon, a very nice analog, you know, ATV receptor there. Very, very nice. Well assembled, good image. Glad to see Tom and Jerry there. I didn't even know that infrared was available to this type of work, but I will search for it. And that's the face of my dog, Zuko, when I told him that you hate dogs. All right, guys, with that, 73 to all. Have a nice upcoming week, and see you all next week. 73 from Papa Yankee 2 Radio November. Bye-bye.
Yeah, fine, Ed. Papa Yankee 2 Radio November. G4FKK returning. Well, my cat must have heard all this talk about dogs because she's come into the shack to bother me. What do you want? I know what you want. Food. Anyway, very good and excellent net, and some interesting stuff on it. I like the little monitor there, Leon. That was excellent. Nick, yeah, lip sync does seem to be a constant problem with all this stuff. I don't know if mine. Well, it didn't look too bad. I've just lost all my picture quality for some reason. So there's always something different when you turn it all on, Nick. Well done on ordering the Pi 4, and yeah, your shack is very tidy. I had a boss once when I was working at a very busy radio station in London, and he mentioned to me once on one of these management interviews, Martin, your desk is quite untidy. You know, an untidy desk indicates an untidy mind. So I looked at his empty desk and said, well, what does your empty desk signify then? He didn't like me. I hope you had a good holiday, Benno. And, the F1's postponed, is it? Oh, yeah, Nick, you were saying it was raining where you are. It's been quite pleasant here so far today. So usually the weather comes from the southwest here, and you're to the northeast of me, so hopefully your weather's not coming my way, Nick. And yeah, Benno, that software looked quite good with the Pi and the Pluto, and you got 2 spare Pis as well. Interested in your new printed circuit board, Mike, and 35 ohm coax. Yeah, I've got some 25 ohm. I've always used 25 ohm coax for those sorts of matching arrangements, but perhaps I need to do a bit more research. And yeah, on the washing machine, which is all it is, you're quite right. Yeah, you take the watch to pieces first. You don't put the whole watch in there because it wouldn't last long. But basically, now you've mentioned it, you get this basket, and this is a very fine mesh basket, and inside it are more little baskets with little compartments. And then for things like tiny screws and springs and things, you get even tinier baskets that you can put it all into. Then you put the lid on, one lid, and then that just clamps onto the basket motor, as it were. So yeah, it's all in bits, and I still don't quite know how some of the bits survive, but they do. They've been doing it for that way for many years. So and the chemical they use, Gary, it's an ammoniated liquid of some sort. Oh, somewhere I've got it. Oh, yeah, we are. It's got mineral spirits regular C6H6 Stoddard solvent. It's a mixture of aliphatic and alicyclic C7C12 hydrocarbons. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about because I don't. Then it's got a solvent in it which is naphtha light aliphatic, consisting mainly of straight chained and cyclic aliphatic 5 to 9 carbon atoms per molecule. I haven't checked that. It's got oleic acid in it. So it's not carbon tet. That would probably dissolve some of the watch parts, I suspect. We used to use that when I worked at Marconi's, and we used to make quartz crystals for filters and oscillators and things. It was very excellent stuff for cleaning, but not very good for your health, evidently. And the solvent it's made by L&R. I can't remember what that stands for now, but they make watch cleaning machines and chemicals and stuff. And Bert, yes, it's very heavy indeed. When I picked it up, it was in a watchmaker's workshop about 2 floors down underneath an auction house in Hatton Garden. And luckily the watchmaker, who was a very young, strong man, he just ran up the stairs with this thing. It was all I could do to get it out of the car and bring it in the house. I'm glad the welder was a present, Leon. That's excellent. And what was the other thing you mentioned there? Oh, yeah, the monitor. Yeah, that's superb. Absolutely fine business. Okay about the mast being 22 metres as well, Bert. And Ed, waiting for Mrs. Radio November. That's a well-known story here, although I'm usually waiting for it, obviously. And interesting, I think you meant that the openings to the UK were on 6 metres. I'll have to have a listen. I have got a 2 metre beam, a 2-element beam. Anyway, that's that. I don't know if Tom's watching today, but I've been enjoying your latest version of the Windows client, Tom. Which camera's that on? Yeah, I can show you. There it is on the other computer. So there you go. Right. Thanks, Gary, for running the net. Great to see you, Saro. Everybody have a good week, and I shall look forward to seeing you all in due course, hopefully. So with that, it's round to you again, Nick. G4IMO. G4FKK is standing by. I'll just stick a test card up for stuff. Yeah, I will try the Android version, Tom, but I'm going to have to contact you first about how you load apps onto an Android that aren't in the App Store. That's how primitive I am with Androids. Right, round to you, Nick. G4IMO, G4FKK. Cheerio, everyone.
Yeah, okay, okay, Martin. Got my audio there. Okay, Martin. Turn that down. Yeah, that was very interesting. Did I hear you say you were at Marconi's? I'm a ex-Marconi man as well when I left school. Excuse me. Yeah, when I left school, I went to Marconi's in Chelmsford, in the New Street factory, to become an apprentice. So, but I remember when I was an apprentice there, they used to have what they call Tidy Friday. The supervisor would come round and he would insist that on a Friday everybody should tidy up. Tidy Friday. Yes, that's what is that? 50 odd years ago. Long time ago now, but there you go. What else was there? Oh, okay, yeah, Mike. That phasing with that hard line there. Yeah, I didn't know you could get that in 35 ohms. That's interesting. I remember when I had one of my 60-foot Versa tower. One of my old QTHs, on the top of that, there were 4 48 element multi-beams that were phased up for 70 SEMS. That worked very well. I used to use that for ATV. But unfortunately, in the hurricane of 87, which wasn't forecast, it snapped in two. Half of it ended up in the farmer's field. I was at work at the time. I just finished a evening shift at the airport. So I finished at 10 o'clock and was driving home and in this hurricane, and I went down to the mast to try and wind it down, but it was impossible because the thing was sort of leaning over too much in the wind, so you just couldn't wind it down. And when I woke up in the morning, it had snapped in two. That was the end of that. But, that's a great shame. Leon, yeah, I meant to comment. Yeah, a lot of people comment on my quality of my video. I've no idea, other than the fact it could be the graphics card that I'm using. I don't know. Presumably the quality of the graphics card affects the video. I don't know. But when I started this ATV, when was that? It's about 4 or 5 months ago. I needed a new computer because my other one was only XP, and that was no good. So I went out and I purchased this very expensive machine here. And it's got a, well, the computer is a XPS 8940, but it's got a GTX NVIDIA 1660 Ti graphics card in there, which that may be the reason why my quality is works so well. I don't know, because I'm only using the C920, the Logitech C920. And okay, on that little L-band receiver, and you mentioned the runways at your local airport there. Well, they're the same identical runways we had at Southend, runway 33 and 15. That they were the short runways, and the main runway was 24 and 06, where I used to fly there many years ago. Anyway, I'm going to say 73s to everybody. And we'll see you on next time. Well, it won't be next Sunday because I shall be at the radio rally, spending lots of money if my XYL will allow me. Okay, 73s, everybody. G4IMO is...
It seems all to work. Let's see if I have audio. Yes, I have. So turn that one a little bit down. Great round, a long round, 1.5 hours already. Before we are round the next round, it will be over almost 2 hours. So that's great. Formula 1 has started, by the way, but it won't be a very neat drive, as it is kind of wet over there, meaning basically it's not nice at all. What do I wanted to show you? Okay, I managed to get this one working again. Actually, it was quite simple. Every Raspberry needs lots and lots of power. So my power was too low, and obviously it locked up. But you can see it working now. And this is the lower beacon, and this is the middle beacon. So it's working pretty nice. But as again, it's not transmitting so far, so I need to play around with it a little bit more in order to find it. The reason. Another thing I wanted to show you guys is this, which is the DATV Easy. As you know, I'm using, but it's the last tablet of the last tab of the program, which is Ptt Monitoring, and you can see it's filled in actually with rubbish information at the moment, because my temperature is not calibrated yet. It's not 11 degrees. Well, it's not it's not even close. And the power is a little bit more than 25 watts. But you can see it's monitoring from the Longmind Raspberry, which is running here with the Node-RED instance and the monitor board. And actually, I've spoken with Dominic, who is kind of busy private. I won't tell you what he wrote me, but he's kind of busy over the next few weeks. Won't do much changes. And but he also requested a little bit information, and Tom is cooking something on his website, not only for the Longmind clients, but for this piece of, where is it, this, which is the program on the Longmind client, which is the conversation between the DATV Easy and hardware. You have several temperature readouts, and if I show you the direct readout, which tells a little bit better the information, which is the information out of the Longmind / Node-RED instance on the same Raspberry, which is somewhere on my network, which should be close to my amplifier, and that's basically the next goal. And you can see you can switch on PTT and power supply relays for all kind of reasons, and it switches on and off. and it actually is also controlled on the PTT, which is here, which is a start PTT and a delayed PTT, which is kind of neat because this one is really the start button and this one is the delayed after the stream is running. It switches on the amplifier and it prevents unnecessary and unneeded transmission. Okay, well, much of this will be in the near future. Let's see if I have a camera somewhere along here. Okay, there I am back. That's all for now. Greetings to the guys, and I won't be on next week, as I will be somewhere on the camping ground, probably being able to transmit on the QO-100, but not on DATV by far, because of massive trees. I was thinking about bringing my 1.1 meter dish, but I also know Sunday afternoon I have lots of other things to do, so I won't be on the net anyhow. Okay, greetings. Microphone on to Mike from Papa Alpha number 3 Foxtrot Bravo X-ray. Ready as you ever are, Mike.
Okay, thank you, Benno, again. All very interesting. Let me put my picture up again. Thanks for the clarification, Martin, that you take the watch apart beforehand. And yeah, radio rallies and people going to hamfests, that was what I did. And I forgot to mention that on the last over. I was at the local Dunstable Downs radio rally, which was very good, actually. There weren't very many bargains there by traditional standards, but it was good to see everybody. I half expected to see you there, Martin, but you weren't there, so there you go. Quite a few other people from BATC were there. There was a BATC stand, and there were a few things anyway to be purchased, but they are not. Ooh, no, not Wondercam. They're not on the bench, but yeah, you can get 35 ohm 141 coax, and it's perfectly fine. I don't know, I couldn't find 085 35 ohm coax, but I might have a look for that. Anyway, you asked about the PCB, Martin. I only started designing it, so this is as far as I've got during the net, from starting to lay it out to finish it. That's how much I've done. It's pretty much done now. I just need to check it and do some labelling. So this is the board itself. It's very small. Here it is as a 3D render, so you get the idea. One pot to set a voltage and another 2 pots to set the other voltage. It's for 2 FETs. The idea being that they're going to be almost the same but maybe slightly different. And it's supposed to be temperature compensated, which is what all this stuff is about. Anyway, here's the circuit. Let me just make that visible. Oh, that didn't work, did it? Let me make it a bit more visible. There you go. Fairly simple. Nothing too complicated anyway. Now the other thing I was going to show you, and by the way, it's not been tested or simulated or anything yet, so there's a fairly good chance that this won't work, because I've made an error or something. But I'll order it from PCBWay because it's a fairly simple thing to get done. The other thing that I was going to show you was, if I go to the KiCad, whoops, was this. See my winter hill appear there. -1 because I've got it pointed at the camera, so I look in the right direction. Anyway, let's load this up. So that's the general idea. And I'm not sure that's going to work, but wavy lines, whether they'll interact with each other. But I thought I'd try it anyway. It's only for the input side. It really won't look particularly interesting. I mean, what can you tell from that? Nothing really. It's entirely passive. But the idea is that these lines, the reason they're wavy is because I wanted to get it into a certain space. I've done another one which just uses standard strip lines of straight, but that doesn't quite fit into the box that I intend to use, so I've gone for the wavy lines approach, which may be a complete fallacy or stupidity, I don't know. But that should handle the about 4 or 5 watts that I need to put in to get the power out. It's not for anything more than that. Right, anyway, over to Nigel. And Nigel, you didn't have any audio last time round. Hopefully you've managed to fix that. So let's see anyway. G0MJW.
VH. I've seen my test card. Can I tell me if I've got any audio, please, before we start waffling up? Any audio? Anybody can see if I'm getting out? On the chat, can somebody say if your audio's out, please? Audio's a bit weak. Well, I can turn it up now. Have a look. 1, 2, 3. Is that better? Is that better? Well, I can hear myself now. Just turn it down on the chat. You just see on the audio. Much better now. Thank you very much. Hey. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, or good day to everybody. Yes, I'm still having problems, but I just got a bit of a conundrum, a problem. Gary, Leon, can't read my writing. Sarah, Mike, especially you, Mike. Strange. I'm getting audio, fantastic, but no actual picture. Only people I'm getting picture from is Ed, Martin, although I like you said a bit flicking to start with, Nick, Benno, and I've got bottom of this Peter who's going after me, and G7BZY in Wales. I get an audio, so I don't know. I'm a bit stuck because half of you I can't get pictures from, but I say the last people Ed, Martin, Nick, Benno, and Peter I can. So I can get it for some, but not all. So I'm a bit stuck on what to try and adjust. But just, I'm quite surprised that I'm not getting new mic. MJW, yeah, conundrum. I can't even say it, I can read it. So I don't know, Mike. Yeah, anyway, enough waffling for me. I'm going to keep it short, because obviously it's 10:43 in local, in the UK. 4:44, sorry, 43. So I'll hand it back over straight over to Peter, GW7BYZ. Peter, you've got the camera, just put the picture back on. So we're not looking at my ugly mate. I'll hand the mic carry over to you then. Good.
Nigel, I think you were getting the picture of me. What I did, I went to, I'm using the need vMix, not vMix, VLC for your LAN client, and go into the settings and go down to codecs and then disabled hardware codecs, which is what I did. It did used to work fine, and then I had a bit of an update, and then it wouldn't work, and some people showed videos, and others didn't. Although this is dropping in and out for me now. We'll see. Yeah, I assume that other people are seeing me. We might be picking up a bit of interference. Okay. We've been going on, and apologise, but all great stuff, all very interesting. Somebody said the mast was it 20-something meters? That's massive, that's fantastic. Your tower, only to be dreamed of at this location. FT8, I just put, I didn't quite catch the frequency for the 6 meters there, 51 something, but I'll have it, I'll have a look. Well, I suppose I can go on the calling frequency, I can find that out, can't I? My video is dropping in and out, is it? Is it still dropping in and out? Yeah, hopefully you are receiving me still. Yeah, if you go into vMix, not VLC, and navigate yourself through the menus until you come to the codec part, and they give you an option where it says enable or disable. I think it's probably enabled. It's intermittent. Okay. Well, it doesn't look. Is everybody seeing intermittent signal from me? Anyway, whatever. Oh, not missing much. A little. Okay. Apologies. So you're not missing much. I noticed that my SR has disappeared as well, so I don't know what's going on. I've got some problem somewhere, obviously, but I can't say what it might be at the moment. Signal's going out. I can whack up the power a little bit. I might be a little bit down. That might help. Okay. What show and tell? What camera am I using? Someone did mention that this picture. Well, that's the camera I'm using. It doesn't quite look like that. It's got a different lens, and I haven't got the radio gear on the back as yet. But I'm looking out for one online. I don't know whether or not the 800 meg stuff is still legal or not. But I'm sure I can get a plug-in. It's got to be good 10 years old. But it's doing the job nicely, I've got to say. I probably should have shown this camera before, but those are the unsteady cams, etc. I thought I'd show my camera. The ones in the background there, they're tape-based cameras, and one works very well, very low hours. I think it's only got about 20 hours on it on the one up there, and that works really well. But it's only DV cam, and the computer doesn't have a DV input, and I haven't got a card in it at the moment. It's only SD. So there we are. That's it from me. Thank you for everybody. Won't be on next week, I suppose, but we'll come back again sometime in the near future, etc., etc., etc. And say good afternoon to everybody. This is GW7BZY.
Okay, Peter, let's hope I lock. I've just changed my FEC so that, just kill that, so that hopefully you can see us now, Nigel. Hopefully you can see us now. I've just changed the FEC to a lower rate so it might be easier. Right, chaps, I'm going to wrap up the net. Just one thing. Next week, Saturday, at about... no, you don't. That's strange. Next week, Saturday, starting at about 2 p.m. South African time, which will be about 1 p.m. British time, or 1200, 200, what's it now, 1300, 1200 UTC, I think is the time. I'll be giving a bit of a demo at the local radio amateur club on DATV. So I'd appreciate it if there are a few fellas that could come up and maybe just say hi to the guys. I'm sure they'll find it quite interesting. And Tom will be there as well a bit later. We'll have a QSO. He's not far from the club, and he'll pop over and he'll give a bit of a talk on what his latest software is about. I think it's going to be an interesting talk, and we're going to stream it hopefully on YouTube as well. So it's going to be interesting, and people can always go and look back at it. So I think it'll be a nice afternoon. So I just wanted to mention that. So with that, I'm going to say 7-3 to all on frequency. Thank you so much for coming up. It's been a long net. Lovely to see you again, Saro, and Peter as well, and Nigel, guys we haven't seen for a while. Mike, always busy with good projects. That's excellent. That PC board design and the rendering is fantastic. That's the way it should be done. And Nick, good to see you there as well. All good signals today. And with that, I'm going to close station. Whoever wants to continue with the net roster, it's much easier that way. It's a bit organized. And by the way, Martin, I had to chuckle at the empty desk, or the, yeah. What does that indicate for sure? 7-3's everyone on frequency, and to all the listeners, there were 72 views on YouTube. And also to, I forgot to mention, I saw older, what was his name now? Martin, no, not Martin. Let me just think now, who was on? Chris was on. Oh my goodness. Anyway, quite a few guys watching us, so hi to all anyway. Right, sorry, I'm John, G7JTT. John, hi man, sorry, not recognizing you earlier. Okay guys, with that, I'm going to say 7-3. I think Leon's gone, so if it's not Leon, if you guys want to continue, it'll be back to you, Bert, and then to Saro. I'll just throw the ball in the air. This is ZS6YI. Now closing the worldwide DATV net, and thanking everyone on frequency for watching and taking part. 7-3 to all. See you next week.